Alexei promised all the hardcore is behind. Now we'll have more and more fun till the after party. And hope we had a great lunch and full of energy to consume the next round of information. And this workshop will be devoted to Flespi interface. But before we start, a small minute of philosophy from Jan Bartnitsky. Best interface is no interface. I'm sorry, Renia. We still need you. Wait. No, I just told it that no, we had some customers that subscribed for a paid plan of Flespi 5 years ago. They never asked any questions. They just selected some reliable hardware. They created an integration. They consume data. Flespi works super stable with very high uptime. They never bother us with any problems. Well, pay their bills the first day of the month. Once per 3 years, they reach out, say what a great service you have, and then disappear for the next 3 years. Some people in our team say that these are our favorite customers because they don't provide us with any problems. But this is not true, because what? You are our favorite customers, because you visited this wonderful event and you are interested in making your project more stable, using more features, create nice architectures, disturb us with questions. We like it. That makes us better. So I think we are ready to start our journey to Flespi interface. We'll just see some tweaks that you might not be aware of, and I'll show you some approaches that I usually use while solving your problems or seeing some approaching some hard problems, hard questions that our customers ask us for. And the first thing we'll explore is your account preferences. It's located right there. And there are several tabs. First tab is where you specify name, company name. You can change email or password there, or set up a country. Link social networks to your account to have a more easy entry to the account. And the second tab, I have no second tab, but you will have second tab. It's about billing. And we may see it in the screenshot that on the second tab of the same page, you'll see the billing, where you'll have like automatic payment, all the payment information, all the invoices, and what are these invoices have inside, and PDF of the invoices. So all the billing is available for you. The main word of the conference today is transparency. So we try to provide you with the transparency with billing also. And as I said, I have no here because I don't pay for Flespi. I know somebody from Gurtam management, so that's. The next tab is about appearance. You may change some colors of the Flespi IO panel. Here you might say, Jan, wait a minute. We saw Nadia presentation and she had pink color in the screenshots. Where are pink color? And the answer is that the master of colors is Evgenij. If you want some custom color, you may find him after this workshop and ask how much does it cost, but it will not be reflected in the billing tab, I suppose. But still, it's doable. So you may set up some menu items that you need. I need all of them. But if you don't use storage or MQTT, you might disable it and you will not see it in the panel left tab. What else do we have? This running man is an icon for the speeding up your panel. If you may simplify lists that are longer than a certain amount of elements. This is very helpful for a GPS trace account with 200,000 devices. It still can be surprisingly opened in one browser. And the last but not least is subscribe for change logs. Actually, I advise you to subscribe for change logs because our CEO pays many attention much attention to the change logs. It's one of the greatest drivers of Flespi development. There are some cases when he says, hey guys, we need to release something, we have a change log to be published in a week, let's do something. So it drives the developer to release something. Okay, that's enough about preferences. And the next stuff we'll explain is the dashboard itself. So it has two main features. First, show you information about account, how is it used, how intensively it's used. You may show see the storage, and we bill you for total storage, but you may see which storage exactly occupies what space. You may see some clues about how you use MQTT, how many retained storage use, how many sessions opened or messages registered, API usage and all other instances usage, your limit, and how many items of this limit you use. So just first purpose is the brief explanation of what you use and navigation. By clicking on each tile, you may navigate to appropriate list of items. And further, we navigate to channels, and we'll explore some features. For example, let's open Ruptela channel and open Info tab. I'll show you what's Nadia told about message parameters. So let's say you are in the middle of Ruptela documentation and you enabled some IO ID 88 to be reported, and you want to find which Flespi parameter will be corresponding to this IO ID, and that's how we use it, just filtering by IO ID. You will see that this is GSM jamming event. This is where you find it. This is Boolean, and so on. And in channel, this is just a part of a tool called message parameters, which you may call in the top right corner or in the bottom left corner. Tools is called message parameters. It has all the protocols and all the message parameters. For example, if you want to make some investigation on which protocols can report engine temperature, you specify can point engine point temperature and click on, for example, for this entrance scan engine temperature, and see all the protocols that reported with the source from where it was parsed. So it might give you a clue on what kind of protocols you may use in your project. So this is a tool to navigate between message parameters. In Flespi, we have unified message parameters. And the main idea is that by using different devices, the parameters that mean the same have the same name. So you refer to them in universal way. Let's open, for example, MQTT tab of, let's open Tiltonica channel and get back to the Info tab and open MQTT section. And here we may see all the MQTT topics this channel is responsible for. And what's more, right from this panel, for example, when we subscribe for Flespi idents, it must be the second one. Right here, we may click on this ear icon, which will open the interface of MQTT board. MQTT board is a sandbox to play around with MQTT topics. And right from there, you may click subscribe for certain topics. And in a tree mode, you will see that here is the hierarchical structure of the topic that we subscribed for. Flespi state gateway channels, ID of a channel, idents, and the IMEI. Here we have, maybe it's not seen very clearly, an icon of floppy drive. Yes, I am so old that I know what is it. For some reason, it symbolizes that something is saved. There is a legend that 200 years ago they used such stuff to store information. And by clicking on this final word, we might see the message itself that was published, and it is retained. So that's what I told about the retained messages, that the data is already there. And as soon as some new device connects to the channel, the new entrance will appear there, and webhook can capture it and do some actions on top of it. And what we talked about user properties. These are system information about user properties, so timestamp. CID is client ID. This information belongs to, and so on. And let's get back from the MQTT board to the idents tab. This is one of the places where you may create devices in bulk with a big green button, or you may create a webhook that will create devices. So you click on this webhook icon, which looks like a spinner. And then there will be an interface for opening a webhook. So it's pretty easy. The trigger, the stuff that is responsible for running the webhook, and here is the topic that we have just subscribed for. There is a filter that we have to create new device only if it hasn't been created yet, so device ID will be 0. And the REST API call to be triggered, post, gateway devices, and the info about the devices where the device type ID had been selected on the previous step. But we'll explore more examples for the webhooks later. This is just an example that right from the idents tab of the channel, you may see it. Actually, that's it about the channels. Let's navigate to the devices. And in the device, we'll explore the toolbox. Let's open like maybe VTAX device. So in this toolbox is the place where I have 19% of my time investigating what's happening. And it is fully interactive. So for example, by right-clicking on the message or a log, I will see the context menu, which is different from just standard browser context menu. And we can copy this log object or view traffic of this exact log. And by viewing traffic, we'll transfer it to the traffic, exact place where it happens. So it's an easy way to switch from the traffic viewer to the messages or logs. And once we get back, the log we were working on is still selected, so it's pretty useful when you have a huge amount of logs, so you don't need to navigate it once again and find what's happening there. What's more, these tables are interactive. You may change the order of the row of the columns, or add some columns, remove some columns. If it works with messages, it works with the logs. Yeah, again with the context menu by right-clicking. By the way, right-clicking everywhere in the Flespi panel may produce some very unexpected behavior that you might not be expecting because we have our custom menu for right-clicking. We will use it frequently in this session. So this is Toolbox. We'll use it a bit later, and in different approaches. What do we have here? Interesting is, for example, let's open Tiltonica device with my personal tracker with big blue button. We may run expressions based on logs or based on messages. So we may control-click several messages. By the way, control-click also works. Right-click and specify run expression, test expression. And based on this data, we may run some expression, for example, here as like battery level bigger than 56. 56. Yeah, and it will be automatically executed and show us result here, like for somewhere it's true, somewhere it's false. If there will be no battery level on the message, it will show that the result is not specified. And expressions is some stuff that is widely used on the platform. You may use it to validate message in the streams, or to count it in plugins, or to count it as counters in the calculators. So there is a separate article about expression on all the functions available, and this is the easy way to test it. So you just do it right from interface and see how it will work. So it will provide you with predictable result when you work with the expressions. Okay, that's it about the toolbox. Let's navigate to device telemetry. And we may open the same tracker. So in telemetry, as Nadia explained us, there is a last value of each parameter reported by the device. But it's not only the visualization, it is also it also have some actions. For example, these 3 points is an interface. What can we do with here? And first, we can navigate to the toolbox to see the exact message. It will open in the side window, but we may still find it and it will be selected. So we can see exactly when it was and what was the context. The next option is to, by clicking on these 3 points, create a webhook. So it will subscribe for the topic responsible for this telemetry entry. So by subscribing for this topic, you will have event. You may filter out, for example, false and run it only for true. So it will enable some HTTP request as soon as this parameter will change for true. Just an example. Subscribe with MQTT board. We already saw it, that this ear button everywhere will open MQTT board where you may test it. Yeah, that's it. And what's more interesting, add widget to MQTT tiles. That's what I've showed you as an interactive dashboard. So directly from telemetry, you may create a dashboard with a tile already pre-configured. Can you, Zhenya, create a tile, for example, for battery level? So we will just tune it a little bit to be in a gauge-like manner. Yeah, by the way, you just saw that Zhenya find battery level by using filtering in telemetry. Yeah, and here we may specify like low level, high level, and middle level. So the tile of type gauge will be shown in pretty format. This is the list of all the tiles possible. There are pretty much of them. There is a separate entry at flespi.com that describes each possible tile. In short, there are some different gauges or temperature values or map widget where you may draw a route of a trip or current position of a device. So it's a great tool to build interactive dashboards that will be automatically updated. And what's more, you may share it with a single link. So you may embed a link to the dashboard, set up access control level for the token that will be embedded to the link for only those instances that you want to share, and provide you with the customers very quick and easy way to see the status of their device, their position, values of some critical parameters. And we, across our team, we use it also to monitor the statuses of our servers, for example, or the number of customers, or many different stuff. Okay, what's more about device telemetry? Yeah, we already showed you the filtering option, and we may also delete the telemetry. For example, let's occasionally delete battery level entry. Yeah, so we occasionally hit on remove item telemetry and occasionally hit confirm. So what's happened? We have no more telemetry until device reports a new value. And what a disaster, who did it? We need to perform an investigation and find this bad person. How can we do it? We may navigate to platform logs. That's a place where all the actions with your accounts are logs, and no any bad person will come out of you without punishment. Here we may specify the method equals delete. To find the delete methods run today, we find it, and in this entry log we may see token ID. So we may copy this token ID and also see the IP address from where it had been triggered. So we may find the bad person by their IP in their city. Copy token ID and navigate to tokens to find the token just by ID. Who was that? Yeah, that's how I thought it was Flespi support token. They broke into our account and delete our telemetry and steal our jobs. Okay, nice investigation. So the next time something bad happens in your account, you don't need to write in Flespi chat and see what's happened with my account. You may do it by yourself. Let's quickly explore device info tab. In the device info, we have a link to flespi.com/this device. So each device has a separate entry on Flespi with the full information that we know about this device. There is also entries about the change logs with the link to forum. That is what Alexei told you about the transparency and about the importance of knowing what's happening with the stuff that you rely your projects on. Let's get out of here to the list of devices and see how the right clicks works in the list of devices. So we may right click on the device here and see something non-standard. Yeah, we may copy ID, copy a seed of the device. We may duplicate it. It will open the form to create the device with the same data that this device has. And open it in external tab. That's pretty useful stuff that I usually use too, because, for example, I want to have settings on one tab and Toolbox on another tab and switch between tabs. It's a pretty easy way to do this without the need to open Flespi IO, navigate to device, like log into Flespi IO, navigate to device, and so on. And what also we have here, we may control click on this device. And there are some magic buttons in the bottom right corner. So here we may move device between sub-accounts by selecting just account to move it. And there is a key icon. We may create a ACL token for this device only. So let's create this token. Don't forget to specify TTL or expire session. Every time we prepared for this presentation, Evgenij always forgot to set up expire or TTL. So the token must always have the timing when it will be expired. And it's managed by expire, exact day when it will be deleted, or TTL. So for example, if the token is not used for 1 month, it will be automatically removed. This is token time to live. It is automatically updated each time token is used. So this is the way to keep your token secure, not to like spread it and having unused tokens. So we've created this token with ACL for the device, and we may use it to log into another instance of Flespi.io panel and see how it works with ACL tokens. It's done right there by Flespi login and login by token. Here we insert this token. And here we may see that the only thing that is available for us at the Telematics Hub is the devices section with the only device. Again, user interface way to provide access to the device with the token to Flespi.io right from the devices list by using control clicks. Yeah, and you may select several devices and delete it, but please, Jenny, don't do it. So the next stop in our journey will be plugins. We'll work with the plugins, and first thing I want to show is the plugin called driver name. Let's explore its configuration. So we have the plugin of type item fields, and it adds items with the fields that you specify. And I have two fields, driver name, which will be a string, and it is stored in the message, and license plate, which is also string, but it is not stored in the message. It's just the field that device have that I can always reach by API, but this is some stuff that expands the standard fields of the device, and you may inject your own data there. To use Flespi as a bit more expandable database. And this plugin is assigned to a device called Blue Kia. It is a Kia of a blue color. And here you specify the fields that you have in the plugin configuration. And we may see in the toolbox of this device that each message has driver name injected as a message parameter, but the license plate will not be there. Yeah, this is the idea. So let's move to something a bit more complicated here. For example, we want this device to have address of each position. It can be done via Vialon reverse geocoding plugin. It has pretty simple configuration. So you just specify the plugin that is Vialon reverse geocoding, and that's it, no extra configuration. And we assign this device, assign this plugin to a device, that, let's say the same Blue Kia. And now we may go and check in the messages that Vialon address is not in the parameters. Why? Because plugin works only with new messages. But we may simulate it, the new message coming right from here by right-clicking on the entry in the toolbox. We say re-register messages, and the same messages will be re-registered in the device, thus the plugin will be applied, and we will see addresses of the messages injected. And you might ask, okay, so this is UI feature. Should I select all the devices I have? No, we have a tool for that. And this tool is called re-register messages. We have not very wide fantasy on naming our tools. They usually have the same name as they perform. So in this tool, you specify from which time to which time you need to get up the history. So let's select the time from yesterday, just for demonstration purposes. We may get devices from channel or from the device and post it to a device or to a stream. Now, for this case, we will get messages from device and post it to a device. And there are two steps to be performed here. The first step is to get messages that are from this range. We will see that here are some number of messages to be republished, and we publish these messages to the device. It happens in a couple of steps, 1000 maximum at one step. And now we may navigate back to our device and see that all the messages will be marked in blue color. And this will be because now republished messages have no server timestamp, the time it had been accepted by the channel, because now they go not through a channel but through REST API, so they have REST timestamp.
Server timestamp stays the same?
Server timestamp is deleted from. Is there? Yeah. I just lied to you. Server timestamp is the same. Yeah, when you register new message, not re-register the old message, then there is no server timestamp, but there is only a REST timestamp. Okay, let's move to something more complex. For example, I have my personal GPS tracker, and I need to detect when I come to office, or my boss wants to detect this, because I know when I come to office. So I may create a Gurtam office geofence. It's pretty easy. There is a map where I specify this circle of a geofence, and it's the radius. And you may click on this JSON icon, orange icon, to see the exact scheme used. So there is latitude, longitude of the center, and the radius. And by the way, if you need to duplicate items, you may copy this JSON, apply it on the step when you create new devices, or use it in your API, or just see what kind of schema is there. So I've got now plugin that will append in the bottom. We'll see the parameters that are appended, plugin point geofence point name of the active geofence I'm in, and plugin geofence point status that I'm inside or outside the geofence. But this plugin works with the parameter standard parameters, position latitude and position longitude. But my personal tracker cannot spot GPS satellites being inside the building. So what we can do with this, we may create LBS plugin that will go to VLON database of location-based stations, get the coordinates of location-based stations, check the LBS parameters that are in my message, and append new parameters, position LBS latitude and position LBS longitude to each message with the LBS parameters. But here is the problem, that my geofence plugin works with the standard parameters position latitude, and LBS plugin adds parameters position point LBS point latitude. So I've got another plugin that will just do the renaming for me. If I have no active normal GPS position, we will have plugin that will run only when position latitude exists false and position LBS latitude exists true. And it will just do the renaming. It has type of expression, but no expression are used, just a new name and old name. And how it should work? It should work in this case. So first runs the LBS plugin, and we see the number of a priority. So the higher the priority, the earlier the plugin starts. So yeah, 10 is the highest number. Here the LBS will be run first. Second runs the renaming, if any. And next, Gurtomoffice geofence runs. So plugins may run in the chain, and you specify the priority of how the plugins should be run. But this is not the very interesting plugins from my point of view, as I work closely with protocols, and protocols on Flespi are developed on the language we call PVM and developed inside our team. The most interesting plugin for me is PVM plugin when you have some complex data that you need to be parsed. Actually, Nadia showed us some use case on how it works. I wanted to show you some approach I usually use to create some custom parsing for plugins. We have an online tool called PVM Plugin Tester. Yeah, I think that even Google knows about it. It's called PVM Plugin Sandbox. Okay. So here you input the token. You specify device ID where it should be tested. And the plugin that has this type of PVM plugin that has to be tested. And here you write PVM code. So, for example, we have a message from the device that reports some interesting data inside the JSON parameters log, where the location, latitude, longitude are separated by the hashtag value, and the altitude is the last. So you write an instruction that log has to be parsed as input, split it by hashtag, and first item is a double position latitude, second item position longitude, and position altitude. And a bit more interesting example when we have some parameters with the name, semicolon value, hashtag as a separator, then again name, semicolon value, hashtag as a separator. And this is how we work. We just use the command split, then run for each, then run switch by the sensor name, which was parsed until the semicolon. And then parse if the switch is temperature 1, then use it as double. If it's door status, then map is to the Boolean value, and so on. And another option like TS, which is milliseconds, convert to just seconds. Super powerful tool to parse any kind of custom information, and super useful tool to test it. So you just write a sample, write a code, execute it, and see what's happening. Okay, that's it about the plugins. We have more interesting cases, but we will not stop on them right now. Let's go to calculators and have some live view of how calculators work. I suppose that the easiest possible calculator that you may start with is daily calculator that will split messages day by day. This is how it will look like. The selector is something that selects intervals is of type date or time, where you specify split by day, and the counters, for example, expression of type duration, duration with ignition on, or the counter of type interval, the time it is used, or the mileage of the day, so you will have daily mileage, or the counter of type road, so it will be nicely plotted on the map, and how to see the calculated intervals by navigating to the devices and clicking on this small box icon. And by, we may expand it to see the full interval. So we may specify here in the interval, so we have 1 day, 1 interval, but here is a time selector where you may specify a range by a week or by a month, or just manually specify some range and see all the calculators. And what's more, you may even see a track for this day here in the right bar. So that's what was happening to the device. Something a bit more complex is the next calculator that is called trips. It is splitting the messages into intervals based on another selector, which is expression, and very simple expression: position speed is greater than 1. And it counts also mileage, route, when it was started, when it was finished, or some sophisticated stuff like maximum speed or average speed, or some data set with each point on map. For some reason you might need it in this format. And again, if we need to analyze it, we just go to this section, click on the box for the device that we are looking for, and see and explore all the intervals. But now let me show you the approach on how I work when I need to create some new interval, some new calculator. So, for example, I have this personal GPS tracker with big blue button, and I want to have intervals when it was charging. So, for example, I need to count how many charging cycles was there. So I created a simple template where in the selector we have only an expression like this. The previous battery level is less than current battery level. This will trigger the counting on the interval, and 3 counters: start level of battery, end level, and the difference. This is the beginning state. And now, by seeing which intervals are generated and adopting the counter scheme, I may show you how I can adapt this calculator to my needs. So we have here many different intervals, and let's expand it and see what we have here. There are many intervals with battery diff 0 and duration 0. Let's click on some of these intervals and see the message that was triggering this interval. So you see that here was 80, then 81, that 80 is position altitude, and we need battery level as a column here. It is here, but it's hidden right here as a battery level. You may transfer Zhenya, can you transfer the column? Yeah, to the place where we can see it. So we see that the reports show that the battery level was 84, and then it became 85, and then it was on the stage of 85 for a pretty long time. So it means that interval was inactive, but still it was status of charging. So in this way, I say that, okay, interval might be inactive for, let's say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but still it's in charging state. And when the new interval will start, these two intervals will be merged into one. So I go back to configuration of the interval and say that max inactive parameter, so maximum time when interval can be inactive, will be like 600 seconds. I never charge it less than for 10 minutes, so let's say like this. I save. The calculator automatically recalculates all the messages. And I may open again this interface and see that now it's it should be updated. Battery diff is still 0. So, yeah, let's click and see what's going on here. Yeah, so these are fluctuations. So when the battery goes down, it was like 28, then for one message it went up to 29 and then go down again. So now we may filter out all the intervals that has battery diff, let's say, less than 4. And in the bottom we insert validate message, validate interval, battery point diff. This is our counter. Let's count for interval, and we say do not store intervals that show that battery was risen for one step. So we have only charges that are higher than 4%. That's it. Let's save it and see what we have in the intervals. Oh. Well, so it works. There is no interval with such expression results in true. Yeah, battery diff is greater than 4. Is it nicer? Yeah, so battery diff is, yeah, it looks like nice. It starts at 50 or 32 or 61 and always has a full charge. So building a nice calculator that will fully adapt to your needs is a kind of art, a martial art where you fight with our system, but finally, finally you will receive what you need, and on the long run, it will give you only peace and happiness in your life. And as Alexei told us, that not works only as through calculators, but also through REST API calls. We'll execute some simple API call to run the calculations. So we go to our documentation, specify devices, and we will execute a devices calculate request. Post gateway devices calculate. And let's say for our BlueKey device, we need to count the full number of messages that we have. So we may see that it occupies 70 megabytes of space, but we want to count the number of messages. So we selected the device, and here this is the same configuration as for calculator. And we specify expression as selector expression as 1. So each and every message will get into this interval. And then in the counters, we specify another expression, another one, but the name will be like total messages, and method will be summary. And so it will summarize all the messages that we have in the stored history. And by executing this request, we will see that total messages for this device is 185,000. for some reason we need this data, but we don't know how to get it from Flespi, and it can be simply calculated. So that's it about the calculators. Don't be afraid of calculators. I'm pretty sure that it's even harder that it might be look like through this presentation, but it is worth it. And the last topic to cover for today is webhooks. So let's navigate to webhooks section and see what kind of templates do we have there. Yeah, one of the webhooks created is to repost device connection events into device messages, and the trigger is Flespi state gateway devices connected. And we run post gateway devices, like see that between %sign we can refer the topic or the payload. So here we refer in the REST API URI, we refer to the topic for and then /messages, and the payload is referred here, where we need to post a message with the timestamp and connection status taken from the payload. Because in this topic we will have only the true or false in the payload. Magic for what?
In the URL. Magic constant.
No, it's not the magic constant. Let's count together from 0 to 4. Here we have our topic. So Flespi is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 here is wildcard mask, and here will be exact ID of the device, and we will use it to trigger the REST API call. And the payload may be a JSON, and you may parse it as a JSON and refer to specific fields of this JSON, and this allows you to tune the HTTP request, whatever you need. So what else? When you create new webhook, you will be provided with an interface of the templates. So we already created the template of repost device connection events. We already explored automatically queries device upon connection to the channel. What's interesting do we have here? We may see Telegram notification about item blocked, for example, that I referred about in my automation presentation. The topic is, there are 2 triggers here. You may create up to 3 triggers. And item is blocked, for example, channels blocked, streams blocked. And this is how the request to Telegram API looks like. Just here you need to insert your token that you will create with Telegram bot further. And of course, all the text will be configurable. You may have whatever swearing words you have in this Telegram notification to make you alive and up in the middle of the night if something blocked on Flespi. And yeah, why Telegram? Because it has a extensive API, and we use it as a messenger. We use it as a reports engine. It can trigger push notifications to your phone. What else do we have about Telegram is Telegram knock channel, which you may also use. It is available at flespi.com/status. This is the page that Alexei referred in his presentation. We may just see how it works in live, because we now have live session. And yeah, here is all the uptime of the platform. Each column is clickable, and the link to the Telegram is under this button. You may click on it, navigate, and see that we had a downtime recently, 5 days ago. It was 21 seconds, and the explanation. So these 2 messages had been written by the robot, and this was written by some alive human. I suspect it was Alexei himself. So basically, this is it about our live demonstration session. And remember from what we began that our goal is to not use Flespi interface at all, and to make it work smoothly, and forget that we exist.
Thank you guys for the demo. Do we have any questions from the audience? Please.
So for MQTT boards, is it possible to make it available for anybody, or must be the Flespi user? Because it was the option to add the token. Is it possible to share it without the token?
MQTT board is available as a standalone application, as I remember right. And can you open MQTT?
MQTT board.
MQTT
with
board,
the
yeah.
Or the tiles.
No, not tiles, but MQTT board.
with
So
the-
this
with the
sandbox for MQTT, right? Or the tiles.
I mean, in the place where we do the gauge.
The gouge. So it's MQTT tiles. And yeah, it's available to share it as a link, but in this link there will be inside a token.
Yeah, exactly. So is it possible to share it to anybody without token?
Yes.
As a public?
Yes. It is public, so you may share it. The token will be in the link, so you need to create a token that you might share with the access to the
Okay, so
data you
token
need
is
to
with the
share.
link.
Mhm.
Okay, so great, thank you.
Yeah.
Elian. My name's Matt from Fleetware in Australia. I just had a question. Are you able to calculate the message size in bytes or kilobytes and then work out per device how much data it's using, say, over a month?
Okay. The first is that the message size on Flespi cannot be calculated because we have some proprietary database that doesn't show the exact size of a message. But what you can do, we have counted. Can you open devices list? So we counted the number of messages for our Bluekia device, and we know here that the total amount of messages is 77 megabytes. So we may divide one by another and see the average number of bytes. There will be 200 bytes for each message. What also can you do is that, can you open Siltonica device in the Toolbox? Each session or each connection session is logged, and what we see here also is that we have number of messages and number of bytes received and sent. So what we can do is we may right-click on this yellow log or the gray log, or let's say yellow log, execute expression, and right from here divide received by messages. And we'll see that in this section, one message have taken this amount of bytes, but this is bytes that we have on our TCP stack. What may be the difference? Your carrier operator may charge you in frames, so it might differ from the exact number of TCP bytes used. So again, this is just an estimation, but still quite usable.
Thank you.